Hey folks, today we're going to be talking about imperialism and social Darwinism. Let's get this boat rolling.
Charles Darwin was an English naturalist born in 1809 to 1882 and was known for his contributions towards the understanding of evolution. He embarked on a worldwide voyage in the HMS Beagle, which took off from England all the way to the Americas and back to his hometown. Throughout his journey, Darwin noticed a change in species which ranged from numerous coastal cities. The bulk of his studies were conducted on the Galapagos Islands, where he noticed a change in the beak structures of several finches. This gave rise to something known as natural selection. Natural selection acts to preserve and accumulate minor advantageous genetic mutations. Suppose a member of a species developed a functional advantage. For example, it grew wings and learned to fly. Its offspring would inherit that advantage and pass it on to their offspring. The inferior members of the same species would gradually die out, leaving only the superior members of that population. Over the centuries, human breeders have produced dramatic changes in domestic animal populations by selecting individuals to breed. Breeders eliminate undesirable traits gradually over time. Charles Darwin's theories hugely impacted scientific thought, but his ideas also affected the realms of politics, economics, and literature. More insidious were the ways that Darwin's ideas were used to support theories such as social Darwinism and eugenics, which used biological determinism to advocate for the elimination of people deemed socially unfit. Although Darwin himself was an abolitionist, the social Darwinist ideas, inspired by his work, contributed to some of the most racist and classist social programs of the last 150 years.
Imperialism was a policy used by European powers during the end of the 19th and middle of the 20th century to expand their influence and power over the globe by using military or other means. This approach was mostly used in Africa and Asia as well as in the Middle East, but to a lesser extent. Social Darwinism is a set of ideologies that came about in the late 19th century in which people used Charles Darwin's theory of evolution by natural selection as a way to justify certain political, social, or economic views. Social Darwinists believe in survival of the fittest, the idea that certain people become powerful in society because they are better through genetic predisposition. Social Darwinism was also used to justify not only imperialism, but also racism and eugenics, as well as social inequality at various times over the past century and a half.
And then I want you to ask yourself, what is the most disgusting, revolting, vulgar, and depressing thing in all creation? Mingling. Co-mingling. Nature likes purity. Nature does not like co-mingling. Nature likes a family tree, not a family bush. And this being America, and us being nature's paradise on Earth, we must push for purity.
Social Darwinists see welfare and any tools that could be used as help for the poor as a means of interfering with natural selection, and that competition for property and social status was a tool to eliminate the weak and immoral people of the population. The individual responsible for drawing such parallel between his work and Darwin's was Herbert Spencer.
In conclusion, Charles Darwin observed natural processes and came up with the deduction that in nature, members of a species can, over time, develop certain characteristics that give them advantages. The advantages help them survive, especially in times of difficulties. The babies of these members will also inherit these characteristics. In contrast, other members that do not go through genetic mutations eventually die out. Even though Darwin's theory were based on scientific conclusions that he made from observing nature, and even though Darwin believed black people should not be taken slaves, the theories he proposed were misissued to defend racism and social classes discrimination. It is clear that people who are racist and intolerant by nature can find so-called scientific proof for their views to attack their fellow man.
Thank you.